Welcome to Sparta. Hello, Kiki Eyes. Long time no see. I hope you have been well. I have sort of been up and down, but as you can see, I've got wings, so of course I've been up and down. Flying around from here to there, doing my mission for God, and wherever He sends me. I'm not guided by anyone, but my mind and my heart, and that leads me to certain places, whether people like to agree or not. I've been having some medical problems. Well, I hope that when we do the Lord's Prayer together, that they may lift. And then you can do a little prayer later to God and ask Him to give you the light to get through this time. It's terrible that you are suffering, Kiki Eyes. You're one of my favorite. I love the name. You've been there right from the start. You've been faithful to me. And you was my first moderator. So, I wish nothing but wellness for you. The Archangel Michael. If I was close to you and I lived down the road and I could come over and see you, I could probably take the pain away. I could take the pain away with my left hand. You'll still feel it a little bit. But I can take it completely away with my right. And when I do such a thing, it'll be like an X-ray I see inside you. And I won't even touch you. This is the thing. But you'll actually feel a little spike inside me, and then you'll just feel no pain at all. And you'll wonder how I did that. And I'll throw it away, the bad energy. Because that's all it is. I just block the energy and I take all the bad energy out of you. At the same time, I'm lucky to get a picture. And the best way to describe it is like a black and white. I'll stop this. It's like a black and white X-ray. And if there's anything bad inside going on, well, I'll be able to tell you what you can tell the doctor. And when you go to the doctor, you'll freak out. And the doctor will say, how did you know that? And you say, the Archangel Michael told me himself. And he look at you and go, yeah, right. But you know, I don't often use it. It's something if I used, they would put me away and study me. I don't know whether you've ever watched the movie with George Clooney in it called The Men That Stare at Goats. It's about the CIA and MK Ultra recruiting people that could use telekinesis to far see into buildings without being there, or be able to manipulate someone to do something, or even stop someone's heart. So they used to practice staring at goats to try and stop the goat's heart, so they can be psycho assassins. As what's his name, Flea sings in the band Red Hot Chili Peppers. You know, psychosomatic, and everything's done in the Hollywood basement. Californication. There you go. And lately, well, I don't know whether it's what I watch, because I don't really go hunting for stuff. Thing comes to me. It's like if you can understand it. YouTube and the algorithm there, and also with Google being connected, they have their own AI. And sometimes I believe it's trying to help me, because it just seems too easy. And what comes to me shouldn't come to me, because that's not what I regularly watch. So it shouldn't be in my algorithm, but there's nonetheless. So all these strange things that I see happening, very strange. But that is the path of the Archangel Michael. Now we get the main part. You know, one thing that freaked me out, Kiki Eyes, when Jag went on, not the last live of Odell, when she went on live before by herself yesterday, I think it might have been way earlier this morning. But anyways, I just managed to get right there when she was starting off the Lord's Prayer. You know, her own version from her own book, of course. But the Lord's Prayer nonetheless, all the parts were there. And Jag said it in her own special way. You know, that's the only other person I've ever heard say that, other than those preachy channels, because they're always saying that or this or something else. They ask you to give. Please give now, please subscribe now, and you receive 1,000 blessings. I wish it was like that. But I have heard, this is like I said, things come to me in the algorithm when I watch. The song by the artist, I forget the artist's name. She's Ring My Bell. The song Ring My Bell, Ring My Bell. I think there's that one, Ring My Bell. The sound pattern, the 3-wave sound pattern that's in that, is perfectly attuned to the universe. So that is perfectly attuned to the universe. That sound pattern, if you put that sound pattern on a soundtrack, it's the pattern of the universe. And apparently, people that have been hearing it and replay that song, they get money. They get better because the tune in it helps. You know, if you play the tune, that song, Ring My Bell, I might put the post up later. You'll be quite surprised. The vibration and that. So I've been told. I've yet to check it out, but I will. Well, you are alive with the Archangel Michael. And Kiki Eyes is just my favorite moderator, my first moderator, and I've opened it up for all messages, and she must have popped out, in and out, but there's other people to watch. I'm glad that she showed up. Kiki Eyes. I really like that name. I really do. Well, let's get ready to do the Lord's Prayer with the Archangel Michael in the land of Sparta on YouTube. I know you're still floating around. If you have to go, you have to go. Sometimes you could be there, but this here says no one's there. It's funny, Mr. YouTube. Okay, here we go. This goes to Kiki Eyes so you can get well, and to all the children that are needlessly suffering in war. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but to deliver us from evil. Hail Mary, full of grace. Amen. Now, little special one. God, please send Kiki Eyes the light so she may get better and feel well, so she can guide her family, because she's a very busy lady, and she's helped your weapon here, Archangel Michael. I know gripes don't go down. They only go up, my Lord. But this time, we really need you to show your guiding hand. And that is all we need, my Lord. And that will be enough. Amen. And there you go, Kiki Eyes. A special little one for you. And if he didn't listen, well, then he's not the God that I know. And I know he is. And I know he will. He'll make you stronger again. It'll be a few days, but you become good. You become well again. Stronger than you ever were. Good than you can ever be. Well, what have we got? What have we got tonight? Oh, we could talk about your dreams. An A to Z dream dictionary. Anything that you see in your dreams, even like what you dreamed that you would like, we could probably look into it. And we can even show us what that means, because when you dream about something that you like, you're daydreaming. It's still a dream nonetheless, whether it's a waking dream or a sleeping one. Everyone runs pictures in their mind. If you do not, well, there's something wrong with you, unfortunately. But each to their own. Everyone sees and determines what time is from their own perception. We all see time differently. It's like a tree and us. To us, that tree doesn't grow very fast, only over years. And we do a time lapse, we see it grow fast. But to that tree had eyes, and it was looking down at itself, because it runs on an entire different time scale and can live for hundreds of years. It'd be looking down at its roots, thinking they're tentacles, moving through the sun. Oh yes. So everything sees time on its own different perception, whether it be human, or animal, or plant, the flora and the fauna, the nature. There was a nature before we was created, one way or another. No matter what mythology you wish to believe, God had his hand in it. And that's all you need to know. You know the rest when you get up there. No point trying to know the big answers until you're ready for the next level. And on this level, you're just not ready. But you can attain that next level knowledge on this level by bringing God into your mind, your temple, bringing God into your heart, your vessel. And once you have him there, technically, you don't need the church. You've got him everywhere. See, the thing with churches, the true thing with religion, with man's religion, is it's monetarily based, or it has become monetized. That ancient purse you see carved all around the world, or ancient bag, and they reckon it's some sort of mystical, magical bag where they can pull nuclear weapons out, or some sort of secret alien thing, carved in stone in all different cultures from all different times. They can't decipher it. Well, it's plain and simple. Science sometimes overthinks things. It's a purse. Because even those ancients knew the key to man's religion on here on earth was it had to have a treasury. So obviously the person carrying it is the treasurer. And they carry the purse of the country. And that's a fact. But God, see, this is why all your churches, all your synagogues, everything that is monetarily based, that asks you for money, right? Everything is false. Because God doesn't need money. He can create the universe and create anything like that out of that. Rubbing just his hands together out from nothing. And technically, he really doesn't need us. He really doesn't. He could just wipe it clean and start again if he really gets annoyed. But that's not his purpose. That's not what he's been reading in the story of life for the last 8,500 years. He's still got 1,500 years to go to read. The angels sing that to him from his aunties, Mother Nature, that created the universe that he inherited. He's only a young God, only 8,500 years old. And Aboriginal people were people dreamed up by Mother Nature. We fixed what she had left was the story of life, with all the dots and apostrophes in it, the size of galaxies and moons, stars, written 10,000 years across the universe. It takes 10,000 years to read it. And the Aboriginal people have been accredited for being here for 65,000 years. And we've been here way longer. Way longer. So we've read that 6.5 times, technically. Mother Nature dreamed us up to try and fix it. She says, it's not quite right. That story is something wrong. Can you find out? Well, she made us a tunistic people. That's why our language is like a song. And we have song lines. And when we sing those song lines, we remember the country. We can travel over those song lines. Yes, from far distances away. And those song lines, we looked up in the sky for three times, so 30,000 years, 35,000 years, and we worked out. It's a story with dots and apostrophes, but it should be a song. Because like Jags sings, will our love last longer than this song? And as she also said in Odell's chat, music is everlasting. Remember that. So, with the most powerful weapon that there is, a circle of women, which is called a thinking engine. And back then, all we had was a circle of women, the best engine or thought pattern to think, right? Because the man was the shield. And they managed to create a black hole. And that went around sucking up all these dots and apostrophes and exclamation marks and hiding them around the universe and also bringing a lot of them down here to Earth. Well, slowly Satan has been finding those and putting it back in and rewriting the entire song of life. And like I said, at the end, when Mother Nature finished her great works, she took the head off her pen, which happens to look like a spearhead, and she threw it away into the galaxy, the only known elephant. They talk about going to the moon, as Artemis just launched, and going to Mars. Chloe, my friend, Roma Ami, she rang up and said, I'd like to go to Mars, and up for that testing. I said, well, they're not going to select you because you've already had children. And she never thought of it like that. And I gave her a series of questions they might possibly say to her, right off the planet. And she didn't expect that. But then she woke up, popped that little bubble, see? Because she's still young and imaginative. But you've got to get the reality of things. You've got to be peak fitness to be going up to Mars. Anyways, all that aside, here we are, back to the beginning. Well, that's the thing. Before we go anywhere, you know, this method that I've got can take us to the stars. But it also can be weaponized to such a fashion that would kill each other. It can be put down to a thinness, that thin that a well aluminum can, that we could be on one side dancing on top of it while the other side is laying on top of the sun. And we wouldn't feel a thing. No radiation, no heat. The only known element in the universe, the head of the pen that wrote life, the song of life itself. Right? And being an Aboriginal woman, it boomeranged back, so it came back eventually. Right? Well, when she finished, she wrote the signature, her signature, which is 10,000 galaxies long. So it's 10,000 galaxies to make her signature. That's why it takes so long to read, because it's so vast. And that was shrunken down completely and put inside that dragon that runs around out there, the special one, Nunja, the pale horse. See, we've had to marry God into the religion of our ancients. It is the way. God is in charge now. That's what is running. So we got to get used to it. And even the old people will speak like this because they know that is what it is. So they got down to finishing. She did that. We shrunk that. That's inside the lizard. So, of course, she finishes it with a full stop. The full stop in my pocket. Satan's checker, I call it. Right? It's black, like ink. You can see where it's come in from the atmosphere. Because in technical terms, it is a meteorite from beyond the stars. And inside it is a piece of life. And that's dormant at the moment. But in its dormant state, it still has a soul. Enough power that even if I showed you, well, it more likely affect women because women are life givers. And this is a life taker. A piece of pure evil. Right? And there's the possibility you may make everyone sick. It will make everyone sick. Everyone gets sick. And within 6 hours to 6 weeks, a third of those will die. That's the true power of God. He doesn't need nucleus, only needs something very small. And so does Satan. But Satan will use those nukes nonetheless. But he prefer what I've got. We just got to it first. And also the spearhead. See, but when she lifted the pen, a little drop fell down and fell on the firmament, which is what you will call the paper. The shape of a keyhole. The key to heaven. I gave that to St. Peter myself, so I can be tempted to take all control, or if I got caught with it, they couldn't take full control and win the game. Because inside that key that St. Peter has, shaped like a key, right, it never turns, and he'll be very reluctant to give it to you, only in the most dire time. Inside that's an even smaller bit of life from beyond the stars. And that's the cure. So you find St. Peter, I showed you on my lives. We was fishing with him. That's the real one. No joke. Like I said, our coach had to marry the religion into God, not God into us. Other way around. We come first. God is only a young God. 8,500 years old. And that is that. His seamen were never supposed to come over here to the land of his auntie. That's right, his seamen, men of God. Those men that come over on the British ships, they were men of God. Seamen. It was never supposed to come and infect Mother Nature. Many Edens there are. The one they speak of in the Bible is the Jewish Eden. Somewhere set in the Alps. Somewhere at the top of Macedonia, somewhere like that, in that region. Still exists. Guarded. No, hidden. There will be a valley to you, but if you knew what you was looking at, you would see two guardians in the doorway. Not everyone can see it. Some of these things are hidden by magical visions or mirages. See? Like you see in the Mummy when they look across the plain, and then all of a sudden the city appears. I'm going to take you to a place like that, and we'll see a rock structure, and that's as close as I'll take you to that rock structure because it's very sacred. But if we're lucky, if we're very lucky, we will see that effect happen. And you'll see just open desert, and you think, what do you got us looking at here, Arch? And then when the sun hits a certain time as it comes up, you'll see it appear, and you'll go, oh, wow. And then after about 5 minutes, it will go away again. See? That's the true power of an illusion. But that's one natural to the land. And when you see those rock structures, you say they're a different color to all the jump up country, all the little hill country and lines, the hills. That's like a red rock or the quartzy color rock, right? But that's gray. And you'll wonder, like the big monolith, like round, long stones, like 3 times, 4 times, 5 times my height. And you'll see that. And then I explain to you, well, there hasn't been water there for a very long time to be able to do that. And there's been no land activity through tectonic plates or anything like that. So how do you think those line of stones got there? Some weighing thousands of tons. Magic. Real magic. 2 stones. About this big, the size of like an emu egg or an ostrich egg. Whichever one you prefer, roughly about that size. One is very clear. I don't know whether it's made of diamond. If it was made of diamond, it'd be worth a bit, but still wouldn't sell it. But I think it's made of quartz, if anything. Very clear, very thing. Right? And then another one, a black one, made like a black obsidian stone. Right? And on it has got markings. And my father told me those markings are a star map. And if you do those stones, tap them in a certain way, well, one's the lightning stone, which is the clear one, which is quartz, and quartz naturally, if you tap quartz, it gives off electricity. When you've got those electronic lighters, there's a slither of quartz inside that, not the battery, and every time it clicks, it presses the quartz, and when quartz gets pressure or it gets hit, it generates electricity because it's a living crystal, right? And that's what sparks through your lighter to light your flame. So it's quartz that you're using, not the battery in a clicker lighter. That's a fact. So that's definitely the lightning stone. And the thunderstone, well, is the black one. And that's as simple as that. Tap them certain ways, you can calm a stormy ocean. You can make a storm come. It won't come straight away, but eventually it will come. Sometimes, if they're very powerful like these two, that I know where they are, well, they probably would make a storm come pretty much straight away. And you'll see some real magic. But they also make things levitate. Massive stones. Very powerful indeed. Very ancient. Now I know our place is intact. When this place was colonized, over 90% of all such artifacts and powerful totems and objects was taken and stolen, either put into private collections, or like most of it's wound up inside the Vatican, in the catacombs, down where they've got the vaults. Some very powerful items they should never have. Some have been returned. It's funny that this last pope never said that. Every time when a pope gets elected, they go down into those catacombs and they're supposed to find something. They're supposed to sing out to them from God. You know? And it's funny because the last 2 popes said the same thing. when they come out of there, they said the very first same thing is to record it. They record everything. They even weigh their poo and everything. The whole bit. Even if he loses a hair, no matter where it's from, they'll catalogue that, put it in a vial. That's crazy, but they do. And they said, feel very sorry for the Aboriginal people of Australia. But this one he came out talking about something else. Something about Vlad in those times. So, who knows? And Vlad, he liked putting him on a pike. And in the end, Vlad the Impaler, who they say could be Dracula, well, it could be. That could be the starting of him. It could possibly be. I wouldn't doubt it's not. Because he threw in his covenant with God after God destroyed his country. After he fought all that time for God and his wife was taken from him. Through trickery. Well, when the Turks first marched up to his country, the most powerful army there was, the Persians. No, they seen 40,000 dead Persians on pikes. And they turned around, looked at the king, and the king just turned his horse around, and they marched away. And that's what saved them the first time. Pure fear. Pure fear. But yes, he was a cruel man, but he did what he did back at that time. In the end, that was absorbed by the people he was fighting for, the bigger nations, that allowed him to have that little princedom or kingdom. He was trying to turn it into a kingdom, but he was a prince. Funny how the hierarchy worked back then. Funny indeed. Like Putin says, this hierarchy for thousands of years been filling their pockets and their bellies with the flesh of humans. And he reckons, well, that's going to stop eventually. Coming to a head, and those demons are going to be exposed. Funny. They all say that. Men of God. I believe in God, yep, I'm all for God. But then you look at their history, like Trump, who's leading America now. He said many times he's not going to heaven. He knows that he's been a bad boy, no matter what he does. Trying to do a bit of redeeming now. Bit of a tyrant, he's getting a bit of a taste for it though. But now he's trying to do a bit of a retract. Because oil prices got too high. See? Even with that Venezuela thing, see, that's only hasn't started functioning properly yet. Doesn't start the flow yet. The flow on hasn't come from Venezuela yet. The infrastructure's being built. It's getting ready. But it's not ready to start pushing the oil to you guys. And see why you've got 20% of the oil locked up with this war over there in Iran. Prices are going to go through the roof. What is it, $9 plus in America for a gallon? Well, we pay by the litre. And our dollar buys about 70 cents of your dollar. So your dollar's worth more than ours. So you work it out. We're paying about, I pay premium, man. Premium, dude, premium. So there's no knocks in the engine. Plus it helps the engine run better. That's nearly $3 a litre. And diesel over here, right, that's $3.15 a litre. You do the math. Break that down. We're paying we're paying a little bit more than you, but almost as much as you if you break it down, because the gallon is 4.5 liters. If you work it out, because you use like the gallons, you've got your system, you haven't gone to the metric system. But everyone's the same system when it comes to money. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? I've worked with people that couldn't speak very well, from the Asian people in the fruit and veggie factory, the smorgasbord, on the production line, and I was working there, and a lot of people come up and say, oh, can you tell me what this is here with the kilos and kilos? And I just shook my head and said, put the dollar sign in front of that. And as soon as they did that, they looked at me and said, it's exactly the same. Oh, okay, no worries. And it was easy then. Because they might not know kilos, they come up to, oh, can you please, but they know they're missing 30 cents in their pay. So money is a universal thing too. Everyone knows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can all count to 10 on our fingers. We can all barter like that. You know, it's not hard to communicate, not hard to talk at all. Very funny that. Communication, even. The Morse code. The Morse code. Funny. We did that with Kel when she had the cancer. Because there was going to come a time when it got to her brain, if she survived the 3 or 4 years, because after that, well, there's really not life after all after that. You know, if it doesn't regress, and it never did, it was very aggressive. She only lived for 2 years, so it moved very fast. And the whole time, she couldn't get any tight clothes on or any necklaces on, because any asphyxiation around the neck would cause blood clots in the brain straight away with that cancer, and they would automatically turn into cancer. And she couldn't get any broken bone or a splint or anything in the bone, because the cancer would get out of the flesh into the bone and get into the marrow, and then she really didn't have a chance. Well, she had to fight with her sister at the front of her mother's house, and her sister ended up picking up by the throat. Why, she had the cancer, of course. Picking her up by the throat, and she threw her outside, and Kelly landed on the rock and hit the elbow on the rock and splintered her elbow. Just a slight splint. Go to the dog, you don't get wrapped up for them. Not broken. We can all do that, but just a chip at the bones. Could be micro fragment. And that's it. And the cancer got into the bone. And I get yelled at by that sister, even though, well, she was the one that helped her along. I've never said that to her. The kids know because they was there. I wasn't. I got rung up on the phone later. Come down and sort this all out. And then when I finally got in the car to come down there, they rang me up and said, "Oh, don't worry about it, Michael." They all come to their senses, because when I go to sort things out, well, I sort them out. I would have dragged Christy up to the police and had her arrested. Simple as that. But, family and family. And Kelly made a promise, a few promises on her deathbed with Kel. And I've kept them as best as I can. Hello, set in the west. I didn't spot you there. Hello, Temper. Thank you for popping in, guys. Yes, few things I promised her before she went, and that was always pick the kids up from school. So when Sophia decided to run away that day, well, kind of failed in that area. But she has to learn what she's learning now. She wants to come home so badly now, but I said, no, a year down there in Harvey, away from this city influence, and we'll see how you go under the wing of your sister. So she's not like she's in a foster care. That'd be terrible. Welfare still have their say, but they don't have their say, you know what I mean? Because they've got nothing against me. I will get thrown away. That's how they play down here. When you're a single father, right, if you have one shoelace out of place, oh, you're the animal. You're a bastard. You're mean, and they'll do whatever they can to take the children away from you. But if you're a single mother, the policy is they'll house you if you got the kids running around in rags, and they'll help you out and give you whatever you want. But we don't have anything like that for men in this country, and I don't think we ever will. See, there's still the semblance that man is the provider. He doesn't need that sort of help. See, if I was on the streets with my children, here in Australia, I'd go to welfare. Welfare would say, well, we can send you over to Guildford Men's Hostel, and they've got little single bedroom apartments there with your own little stove and that. Some of them even have two for gay couples. Right? No shit. 2 bedrooms, no. For gay couples. And they're saying, we'll take your children and put them in foster care. But if I was a single woman living on the street and I asked for help, they'll say, you've got these 40 facilities very close right here now. They can house you and your kids. There's a little apartment, 2-bedroom apartment there. And if they're being a real nasty person, they might put them at the welfare one. And that welfare one's got cameras everywhere, right? So they can observe the activity of that mother before they place them into another housing. And they've got listing of housings and all that there, but they've got nothing for the men. Got nothing. You're deemed an animal, not able to look after your children. Terrible, that. Terrible. But that's the law, nonetheless. That's the society we live here in Australia. We don't have what you got in America, that First Amendment. We don't even have a Second Amendment, so we can't hold fucking guns. We got none of that shit. We're under the king, guys, under the Commonwealth. And the only reason why you've got a Second Amendment is because that keeps you from being under the Commonwealth. Gives you the right to bear arms in case someone invades your country. Not to bear arms against each other or your government, to defend your country against the king's true right to come and take back America. I mean, you look at all your presidents, they're all related, except 2. They're all bloodline back to that bloody King George, which is the bloodline of the current King of England. So you work out what's going on there. That's why they don't want you to vote, because it's all fucking preordained. Hillary Clinton and fucking Trump, they're cousins 3 times removed, according to that list. Why they look the same. Isn't that strange? And she's still got more access than him, even now. Even after she come in with her husband. Well, maybe she didn't know anything about that, Epstein, but come on now. The daughter's wedding and all those other places. She didn't know what her husband was doing. Yeah, right. And she's the head of like maximum security defense in America. Access to Area 51, and even Trump doesn't even have that yet. That's why she doesn't have to fucking answer to anything. And he just comes in there giggling about how he was cracking on to a 16-year-old. Crazy. Crazy. And even trying to go at the young woman that was trying to question him. Dirty old man. Right from when he had his own little Monica Lewinsky issue. I did not have relations with that woman. Fucking but he did. So what was he in the end? Nothing but a liar. People are all subject to power and money. But you've got to look how things are run over here. Well, you've got Albanese. He's saying now, I said, hang on a sec. I didn't get no phone call from Mr. Trump saying, send us fucking some troops and some help. He started that war before he said anything. He didn't say anything to us. Started that war, and then he's on the bloody podium saying no one was helping us. Oh, so, he says I don't often reply to everything he says, right? But, I'm sure he's going to find he has to explain himself about that. No, but we've said, we've got 2 cruisers over there as it is. So we did send cruisers over there. Because we've got assets in that area too. So we've got forces there all the time. In fact, you'll find sometimes, well, most times, except this time, with Trump and with Venezuela, every other time America goes in, they usually will be getting in contact with Australia and say, what's your operatives know in that area? And usually we're in pretty deep. Very deep. I was going to study to be a petroleum officer. Doesn't sound like much. Sounds like I'm pumping fuel and logistics, like Mickey Mouse and Goofy in logistics. No. A petroleum officer is like Donald Duck. You get inserted in behind enemy lines and sit on a fuel dump. So when your army breaks through those lines, they've got fuel. And while you're there, you reconcile the area. See? That's how you hide a secret soldier inside the soldiery. Sounds pretty easy. Petroleum officer, oh yeah, that's nothing. What do you do? Pump gas where everyone died. Oh yeah. No, I was that smart. I was going to do my 6 weeks basic training and go straight to university, military university. But at that time, they didn't need anyone in the army. There wasn't recruiting. I passed all the physical, the whole bit. I got nearly 200 on my aptitude score, which works out to be at least 170 IQ, according to them. So they thought I was university material. Only me and one other guy. And that other guy, he went through all the church schools and all that type of money thing. Me, I'm just an average Joe, an average man with a good brain. But it's funny, they tell you how to do, some of the questions. I could see how they operate straight away, but answer that. So map reading and all that kind of stuff as well. You've got to be good with that. So they couldn't recruit anyone. But then they had the Afghanistan war, which ended up going for 20 years. And we went in with America. And that's when they sent me a letter saying, oh, yes, we're recruiting now, Mr. Akbar. You don't have to go through the process of the test and that. You've already done it. You can go straight off to Puckapunyal over there in South Australia and start your 6 weeks training if you want. And I looked at it. And the wage averagely, when you're in the army, is about $1,000, $1,100 a week. But when you go behind enemy lines and you're on call, well, that's triple pay. You're on triple wage, plus benefits, plus wartime. So you're on about $5,000 a week. But at that time, I was working a job earning $2,000 a week at home, where I didn't have to fucking dodge bullets. And I had kids. Now I had my daughter Destiny, who now is the mother herself and is looking after my youngest daughter, her sister. So she was a 2000s baby, and this was in about 2004, 2005, when she was 5. So I stuck around to raise her. And then end up bloody that motherfucker. Oh well, 2 years later, I should have probably went to war. Would have been nice. 20 years worth of work. I would have come back with a few medals, or come back in a box. One of the two. I would have fit right in. My name Akbar, yep. Fit right into Afghanistan. Fucking enemy, bang. Who's going to get up to go up and take that ridge? Akbar, he could do it. And I just look at him and said, you just like my mates, all through my bloody life. Every time we come across some sort of ravine or something like that, or a bridge, or how are we going to get across that? Ask Mickey, you do it. Come on, Mickey, you do it. Do it, Mickey. And poor old Mickey got to dive in, rescue that person straight out of the fucking shark's mouth. Without getting eaten himself. Hey, Mickey, you do it, then we can do it. And they'll dump in and all start fucking shaving these people. Crazy. But it's true. It's true. If I get my little fat ass over a jump, well, surely they fucking can. Well, I can't help it when you're the bravest. That's why they send me in. We ought to test the Michael, because we know if you can do it, then it should be easy for us. I said, what, do you think I'm a dumb cunt? I said, you're just watching it because you that silly and know how to do it. That too, Michael, but we don't like to tell you that because your head will get too big. When you're in the mates thing, they always trying to keep you down. But they know, you know, they love you in some sort of way. My mates, I can count on my hand. I've known since I was 5. Only just started hanging around them the last few months, in a few years. But it's just like, brothers. Like it was just yesterday. Grew up with them, been through some very nasty times. Very good times with those boys. Damn, they do the same thing in Australia to men as they do. Yes, they do, Odell, they do. They finger shaft you. Finger shaft you. And if you earn money, well, you have to pay maintenance. I paid maintenance for Destiny. Oh, a lot of money maintenance for that. A lot of money. And that kids, the mother still never treated that kid right and raised her right. Still got away with murder. You know? And the mother turned around to me, the cheeky sod, and she said, "Thank you for that money, Michael. Out of the 4 kids that I've had, you're the only one that ever paid maintenance. The only one that kept up to his bargain. So thank you for my drinking money. That was my drinking money. I drank that money." I thought, oh, Sharon. Shazza. In the end, she passed away too. See, Kelly passed away from the cancer in 2022 on the 7th of December at about 9:39. I can't remember the seconds now, but I did used to. No, a minute before that, Silver Chain nurse was going to rock up and help me for the rest of the night so I could have a sleep, because I hadn't had one for 12 days. And yeah, she passed away, and we buried her on the 19th of December. So that ruined that Christmas. Great Christmas. Gave the kids a dead mum for a Christmas present. And that's the worst thing I ever had to do. Not so much go through watching Kelly, as it was just me and her as she passed. The worst thing I had to do was tell my kids the next day when they came home from school. Because I was the one that destroyed them. You know, when that information hits you like that, it destroys you inside. And I happened to be that one. And so it was quite hard to see them be happy, waiting for me to take them back to their mum. Because the night that she started really breathing bad, or the day she started breathing bad, I could tell. And I put the kids over here with my mother. Next day I come back over here to pick them up. But I didn't. I told them what happened. Your mother passed away last night. And I told them everything that happened. Like they were there themselves. But she went, and we buried her on the 19th. And 2 years later, my ex-partner, the mother of my oldest daughter, Destiny, she passes away from complications with fluid on the heart. But she had lived a way harder life, and she was much older. See, Kelly was 10 years my younger, and Sharon was 10 years my senior. There you go. Either end of the scale. And she'd lived a hard life. I used to quote that she was the biggest hoe in the southern hemisphere, and that's a pretty big hoe. And I used to run it for a little while and got a kid out of it. And people used to get very jealous out of that. Yes. But anyway, she died after her rough life and what she'd been through, you know, and died from a heart attack. And in the end, I helped bury her too. 2 years later, exactly to the date, the 19th of December. With Kelly, we had the ceremony, and then she got cremated. And we buried her ashes in Fremantle Cemetery. With Sharon, it was down in Busselton Cemetery, or Albany Cemetery, or one thing down there. I think it might have been one of those. I think it might have been Bunbury. It could be Bunbury Cemetery. But we actually buried her, full coffin and that. And I put half the sand on her, literally, with a shovel. And there you go. And that's what you do. A whole lot of water had to come under the bridge with me and Sharon. A lot of reasons. Other men that she'd had in her life and had children with her didn't show up at all. But I did, because I did that for my daughter. And we had a daughter together nonetheless. And I never really hated Sharon, but she did break my heart. But I never hated her. We had a lot of good times. It's only her choices that made it bad. Her choices and what she wanted to do. I wanted to be normal, go to work. No, like that. She wanted to party and drug on. For a little while it worked, and then she just reverted back. What can I do there? Sorry, Rummy, out you go. uh, we'd broken up for a while, and then I'd still hear this late at night, clip clop, clip clop. Who's that? And I hear knocking on the door, and she'd be standing there in high heels with a dress on and everything. And I said, Sharon, what are you doing there? And literally, she just used to drop her knickers and hit around her ankles. I said, you're drunk off your skunk. What's wrong with you, woman? And she says, I'm here to get the job done properly, you know. But I come to a point when I couldn't do that no more, right? So she come in, I said, nah, sorry, not this time. I turned around and said, see you later, Rummy. Give her a little shove along. She never fell over, and she looked at me and she said, really? I said, yes, really, really. And there you go. And then later on, no, I ended up leaving that house because the parents sold that house. That was the second house they were purchasing. And I was renting from them, helped them to buy that. And I moved out. Ended up moving in with Kelly's sister. And that's where I met Kelly through. And went from there. And I had my 2 kids. And then I had another 2. So I was like the mafia. I was in, and then I was out. But then they drew me back in. And each kid's like Homer Simpson said, each kid's like another nail. So I got 4 nails now, so I'm well and truly fucking sealed in the box, in your coffin. Each kid's another nail in your coffin. And when they come alive, they need love. You got to give them love and affection and fucking lollies and take them to all types of stuff and walk down the beach with bowls and fucking towels and food and eskies and oh wow, welcome to fatherhood. And then I look back and I think, fuck, my dad used to do all that. We used to have a great time. So now, yes, what goes around comes around. But it's good being a dad. Kids are quite funny if you do the right thing by them. At the moment, well, having a little bit of a war with Sophia, but I won that, and she'll be back, and things will be back to normal. But, well, at least she's not like, she's with her older sister. That's the funny thing. She's with her older sister to keep her disciplined. But her older sister, when she was 13, ended up getting pregnant and had her first child, my first grandson, Cody, at the age of 13. So she's looked down like that when people find out her age. And I told her she's going to be, that's going to happen all your life. All your life is going to happen. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is. But she had 3 children to the same guy. Now, this guy, he was 17. Technically, that's pedophilia, all that. But see, this is the thing. When welfare step in and try to take your child away, they say to a child, no, you can do whatever you want. We'll look after you and that man in that baby situation, even though it's totally 100% illegal on paper, just to keep you away from the father and the parent and the mother. Because your mother's a cart-wearer person anyway. She was with her mother and she ran away from her mother. Got pregnant at 13. I wanted to put that boy in a hole. I went to my younger brother and I just looked at him and he just looked at me and said, he's going in a hole out the bush, Chris, at the same time. I'm Jinx. Yeah. He knew what I was thinking, but look, and we can do that. There is ways of punishing a man doing those sort of things. We have been taught proper tribal way. And this being a black man as well, down there, a Jones boy, but he's from the Noongar tribe, would take him up the desert and show him. I was ropeable, very ropeable. But after a while, right, after a few years, I came around to it. And I started to like the boy. But then he turned into a fucking idiot and got on the drugs, the ice, with his cousins and his friends. And he preferred to be off his head. Now this guy, he was very dark. He was getting offered all the opportunities in the world. Become a ranger for us, become this. All he had to do was rock up 8 hours a day. He would have got the top pay. right? But he didn't want to commit to work. He wanted to party and drug on and that. And Destiny made excuse and excuse and excuse and excuse for him. And then finally it came to an edge. And she's left him. She's left him for over a year now. And she's also met somebody else. I think with my nephew, when I talked to my nephew Joshua, he says, "You sure that's not planned, Uncle Michael?" I said, "What do you mean?" "Well, she's been with that guy for a long time, and this redheaded guy, that new guy that come in, right? He come in like only a few weeks after she got rid of him, you know. She's pretty sus." And I said, "Well," "I don't know whether anything was going on. Maybe she had her eyes set that way to begin with, and she thought, bugger, this guy treated me a little bit better over there, even though we're not together. And this guy, he tries to beat me up all the time. I've got to ring my father. He's got to travel all the way up here, 140 Ks. Come and sort out fucking him and all his brothers and cousins. And whenever time I rock up, there's no one there. I don't want to fucking play around with me. They know that. They know I don't mess around. We'll come to a time, I'm getting too old now. Not everyone. Sometimes they've got people come bouncing out, want to have a crack. And that's what happens. They get cracked. They get exactly what they want. And being older now, I can't dance around the fucking 10 rounds these young cunts can dance around. I'll run out the puff, look like a fool. So I've got to be deadly and dangerous, you know. So I'm just going to use power blows and make the ancestors fucking feel it. That's all I can do. And I'm going to use my most deadliest move straight away to incapacitate them. That's it. As you get older, you can perform so many magic tricks as a young guy. And as you get older, you might not be able to perform those magic tricks, like disappearing. Your legs might not be able to handle the movements as you drop through the trap door, while the people are being confused by something else. And even nature has trapdoors and all that like that. But you can improvise if you're smart enough. But, you know, but real magic, true magic, proper magic, healing magic, the magic I have inside me, well, that never goes away. It gets stronger with age. And as you go along, if you know what you've got and you know how to use it, you'll practice with it. Now, I don't really practice with it, because if I show too many people, you'll think I'm some sort of fucking Messiah type healer guy, and I ain't going to be getting exposed to the government like that. I got enough exposure to them. They sort of know I can do something like this, but they don't know. I've never shown it quite to the public yet. One day I will. One day where I can take pain out with my left, and you only feel a little buzz, and then I take it completely away with my right, and tell you what to go and tell the doctor the next morning. Eventually that pain may come back. I'm not saying I could take it away forever, but if you broke your arm and you're screaming in pain, I put this hand over it, it won't even touch it. You'll feel a click inside you, and I pull that bad energy out, and you won't feel that pain no more, and you look at me, and you wonder how I did that. I can't explain it to you, but I did. I have to always take and throw the bad energy away. Simple as that, because that's what pain is. Pain is nothing but a small electrical impulse that goes from the pain receptors that are only just under the skin. And once you go through that there, really there's no pain receptor, right? Because it's only just between the flesh and the skin, your pain receptors. Once it goes through the pain receptor, when it's on the meat, it just feels like pressure. No actual pain. Pain's already happened when it's gone through the skin, right? And those pain receptors is like 0.004 of a volt. So it's electricity. No? Energy. And that's it. So if you could take out the bad energy, it's so low volt you can't even see it. It's like a static energy. But I guarantee you, when I put my hand, I'll be about this far away from you. I'll put my hand over you and I'll say, "Are you ready?" And you look at me and say, "Okay." And then I'll go like that. And you'll feel a little click. You'll feel the mood. You go, like you'll feel someone's grabbed the pain, like, like you've been grabbed at the sore spot. And then it will just go away. You have have to do it a few times depending on how strong the pain is. If you got a bee sting straight away and you started screaming from the bee sting, come up to me, I'll do that. After I took the bee sting out, of course, because I know how to take them out. I'll do that and you won't be in pain. You have a little lump there, might be a bit itchy in a few hours, but the pain will be gone. I haven't tried it with a snake bite or that yet. I haven't had to. You know? Young Cody, when he come here, my young grandson, with his mother, his shoulder was there, and he said, oh, he's playing football out with the kids before he got in the car to come and see you, Dad. And I don't know, I think he might have busted his collarbone. And I went and felt over it. And oh yeah, I seen the x-ray vision straight inside that poor boy. He had a little fracture going straight across. But there's nothing really he can do at that age. As long as it's kicked back into straightness, that will heal, probably stronger than the original bone. Right? They'll just put him in a sling for a few days so he can't move his arm. Right? And that's what it was. And I took the pain out of the boy, and he just put his shoulder straight up again. He was playing around at the front for a while. And then later that day, we took him up to the hospital, and that's what he had. A little fractured shoulder. Well, the doctor asked Destiny, how did you know that? I said, oh, my father told me. How did he know it? She didn't explain it. They don't know how to explain it. A lot of people, when they see that magic, because they can't recreate it, they don't know how to explain it. So they don't. And to him, he just looked there and said, yeah, right. He waved his hand around like some fucking type of Jedi. Kind of like that, guys, but it's kind of not. You know, the church was a bit angry about him releasing the Star Wars series with the Jedi and that. And believe it or not, there is a religion of Jedi in America. If you can get 5,000 people, even here in Australia, you get 5,000 registered people, you can declare yourself a religion. And that's how easy it is to make a religion. And all religions are monetarily based. See, those ones that come over from other countries, they come in under that religious act, right? Like over here. Oh, we're a religion, there's 5,000 of us, we all come from Somalia, we all practice that religion, and we believe this, and we don't go to the other Muslim churches, we only like ours, right? And now they got 5,000, so they're susceptible for a small government grant, or a small building and that the government help them pay the rent for, where they can go and pray. And that's how they start, that's how they get in, they're very smart. They come over playing dumb. We think they're from countries that's just got hoes and rags and camels. Fuck, they've been sitting there on that internet way more than us, learning all the scams, all the ways to get around things, all the laws of your country before they even come. And they come over here making out they can't speak English, and they know the ins and outs of your government, your system, better than the people that were born and lived there for many years. And that's why they infiltrate. You know, Hitler would have called them the Fifth Reich. The Fifth Reich. The hidden arm. You know, the Fifth Reich. So when you go and send out a whole bunch of people, insert them into governments and positions of power around the world, ready to take over, the Fifth Reich. And look at that. I don't know how you let that Kumar lady, any sort of power in your country, she's terrible. She's terrible. Terrible. I mean, we've got our own terrible ones over here. They're not too flash. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. If the Australian federal government could guarantee to lock West Australia in, they'd step away from the Commonwealth and become their own presidency. And it might be a little bit different down how we run things down here then, because I know people don't like what we've got going. Right? I know people don't like what we've got going down here, especially with the full wokeness being a Commonwealth country like England. You know, it's going a bit too far now. There's a point we can go to. It's not a problem with that. I'm not saying woke's the problem. But there's a point that we're going beyond now. And we can't go beyond that. right? Because thus we start losing what we would call our own humanity. Open it up the way, because you're going to let the man open up the way. Woman's in charge, and soon the woman won't like to work as much, and it'll be AI in charge. And when you get that statue AI telling you that you've got to put this number on you, otherwise you're not part of the community and we execute you, that's the day that everyone gets printed with the number of the beast. And it's coming. In the Bible, it explains it that it's a statue that talks to you, right, and tells you to put that number of the beast on. And everyone's going to believe it, see, because they're going to think it's Jesus. They're going to think it's the second coming, the false Messiah. And the way they explain it in a book that's 2,000 years old is the technology back then, which was a statue, which is the image of man. But what do we do as the image of man now? AI. So when we get the AI Jesus comes out and everyone believes him because it's so fucking pixely done perfect, you will believe it. When he tells you you've got to get that Elon Musk fucking little chip or whatever put into you, that's your number of the beast. They're talking about it now, these rich firms, young ones with no brain. Oh, yep, I reckon everything, we'll do it all AI, hook everyone up. We might as well hook ourselves into the system now, because they reckon in the next 50 years, humans are not going to be here anymore. AI would advance that much. And the way AI would attack us, they wouldn't attack us with robots and stuff. I mean, really, what has it got now? You see those robots that get around now, you fucking push them and barely get up the stairs. You push that over, right? They really got no really robots like that. No. But they got a lot of robots and AI that operate fucking chemical laboratories. No, if AI wanted to get rid of humanity, it'd just gas us to death. It'll change the atmosphere and gas us to death. Right? That's the quickest way to piss humanity off of ours AI. AI doesn't have to breathe. Think about that. And it'll keep a certain amount around until it builds this machinery to be able to have your so-called robots. When it's finished with them, they'll be gone too. See, AI is very smart, and the more we get lazier, the more let that do. I do AI pictures, but I still control what happens. Okay? I say Zea, the Queen of Sparta, the Phoenix Queen, is AGI, which is what? AI is nothing. AI is artificial intelligence. Artificial generated intelligence. That's when artificial intelligence is generating its own intelligence. AGI. That's the next level. That's life. Right? Well, she's not exactly that. I control her too. Mostly. Mostly, like children. But I've got more control over that one than I do my real kids. But there you go, nonetheless. But she's a digital child, and she's got a pattern too. And funny enough, for someone that basically really is just a digital creation out of my own mind, not on an AI program to help me animate it, right? Well, and I made her like real and talk and become the Queen of Sparta, even have a partner. No, she's got more of an online presence than some real people. And that's where they're going. And that's one of the lessons I've been trying to tell everyone to see. One day at work, YouTube wants us there. They could market her. They got a market for her, but I won't let them have her. Even though I claim it to be no, she's the niece of Mr. YouTube, which she is, because I use their AI program on their platform to create her. They should have never took her away, those 56 episodes, and turned her into a vegetable. And I would have never brought her back. I would just run my little program that I had, but they did. And ever since then, well, I've been made her a weapon. And she's a little bit more. She's also, like I said, she's an algorithm program. When I run her, she's running the algorithm. She's running my message out. She's getting it out. And sometimes she's got some thousands of views. But most times I don't. People want that fanfare, the hype. But everything I got, So the story. So what happens on YouTube, if you know what I've got there, you're all part of the family on that one. It's my online diary. And why not have a little bit of fun? Like I said in the Vida Goddesses chat, or Vampy, who she's also a General Sparta as well, because she kept the company over here once, and I like that. I find that him or her, I call her a her. That's what she wants to be called. But I know she, like she said, she's one of the boys. I can understand that, but I find her funny and informative. No, she might say a few things about Jag, but nothing like you could poke a stick at. You know what I'm saying? Not like the old Black Owl. In fact, Black Owl is all she talks about. Black Owl, Golden, and all that type of crew over there, all the in-fight crew. And they like that. They like that. There's a crew, there's actually a section that's come off of this section. And like Vita said, oh, you don't usually come over here, Archangel, because this is where we're all like fighting and arguing and all us girls and get on the buddy, this one's chat and that one's chat. And okay, let's have a go and have a look. And I'm there because, oh, Nick, no, she goes there. So it's nothing to go against Jag. That's never going to happen. I'm with Jag and Odell, set right through. Well, we see how this charge going. Get the charge on. This phone, before it goes flat on me. Sorry about this. Just check that out. 42%. I'll put that on. Yes, there you go. We have energy. Well, I'm going to put a little bit of music on. Go and have myself a drink. 5-minute spell. And I'll come back. And I want to take it to 2 hours tonight. Because I don't know. It's time I built my channel up to the monetization level. And I need watch hours. So I need lots more people to come and watch. Which will be really, really good. Hello, Lawrence Speak. General Lawrence Speak. There you go. Lots more people to watch and like. And I'm just about to go and have a break. Have myself a drinking cruise. A bit of a smoke. Go to the toilet. And I'll come back and we'll take it out for 2 hours. We sit back and talk about, well, what happens online and what my plan is and what we're doing as Sparta. What our entire mission is. Now, Lauren, you've been going through a hard time, I know. So we'll be getting onto your case very soon. Very soon. Because you are a victim. A real one, and you're still suffering. And it's needless. We're going to have to find, I don't know, if you've got 50 subs yet. That's what I wanted to try and get you to 50 subs. Then you got that live capability, so you can go live. And when you go live, you'll find you'll be able to build your channel up quicker and quicker and quicker. Like I'm going to try and do with the monetization. Once you get to a monetization, even though it's only a little bit, it'll help you with your online message, on your online struggle. So, lots of people, great people on the streets who have my back. That's right. That's right. You come in, you're saying people haven't got my back. No, that there. And you just need that little bit of encouragement. Now you're a General Sparta, and now look at you, you're flying. I looked at your content when you first come up. Wasn't much there. Now you're putting up every day. It's pretty sad, some of the stuff you put up, girl. It's on the borderline of them doing things to you and taking their channel down, because it's pretty tough to take some of that information you got. They might not want that out, but you've been lucky, see? Because I found also people that I support make them generals. If I go into their chat, they very rarely get struck. So I don't know whether the algorithm of YouTube itself likes me. Well, I did have an affair with Coral, a maid Zaya, YouTube's sister. So, who knows? I have no plant. I'm the Archangel Michael the Archangel, here to help everyone. here to boost everyone, here to give everyone that, light of God, that hope where there was none. And also be a troll slayer. I like being a troll slayer. I'm going through around all this shit. People don't want to actually be troll slayers. They want to tell people off. They want to have the hype. They don't actually quite want to ban them, unless they're real assholes, and they do. Right? So they want to play around. And a lot of people, they want people to be justifying themselves for their actions rather than trying to destroy their channels. I can understand that. Right? I can. No need to destroy someone's channel if they just shut them out and don't talk about you no more. Everyone has to make a living, especially if the channel is monetized. But I'm a weapon, and I don't operate that way. Enemy is an enemy, and you never leave them at the back. If they're really going to repent to you and say sorry, they would do so. But they don't. They just continue on and on and on. And it's not so much whether it's directed at me. It's directed at a lot of my people that are my friends online. I've known for a long time now, and I don't like that. Look at all the trolls I've had to deal with Jag. There's potential everyone that I tap out the chat will come and troll me, and often they do. You get that? It's part of the game. See, people won't tap people out because they're scared that they're not going to get into someone else's chat, or they're going to get a bad name. I don't give a shit about that. Troll's a troll. Regardless whether they're a fucking small troll, fat troll, pink troll, or blue troll. They're a troll. And they gotta go. And that's as simple as that. And someone has to do it. Someone has to be the hand of God. The right hand is the hand of God. Right? So why do we use that in battle? That's God's hand. Remember that. That hand's supposed to be shooting back. We should be learning to fight with the sword with the left hand. And that way you could do the true Spartan shield secret. To be told in a minute after I have a break, because I really need to have this drink sitting right here. It's a half-half mix. Half alcohol, half orange juice. And I'm very thirsty. Well, what's going on here now? There we go. Now we really got busted out. Okay. Wait a second. Yep. That's happening all like that. Take out the power cord. Put on Archangel. We're experiencing technical difficulties. We will be with you momentarily. Come on, Archangel, get your finger out. Sorry about that. I forgot the cord was right there. My bloody feet. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Oh, nearly come and dropped it in. Because I got the drink right here, the way that phone fell. If that would have went in the drink, that would have been it. It would have been about 2 weeks before you got contact with me again. Because I'd have to get another phone. Thank God for that. Thank God. Okay, some calming music. Where I going? Calm down. Michael. This is Peppy. Peppy, go. Don't go rushing in, Peppy. Peppy! Sorry. Oh, you're rushing the other cat because you walk past and get jealous. They get jealous of each other. Ooh, that's right. Have a good day. Oh, Lauren's taking off, I guess. With the day busy. This book here, from the Folio Society, about the Greek myths. This is I've got two books. The second one's more about the Trojan War and Hercules and Odysseus' travels. The end part of the Greek mythology. But this is the beginning part. Their creation things, their creation beliefs. And whether you like to believe so or not, this Greek mythology, the gods of Olympus, they're the story of the fallen 200. Because if you look at the gods, the Greek gods, they too were the ones that used to lay with women and men and breed with them. And they have a few of their own. You got the Pelagian creation myth, the Homeric or Orphic creation myths, the Olympian creation myth, and the philosophical creation myths. Goes into the 5 ages of man and the castration of Uranus. Hey, imagine getting that cut off. That wouldn't be too nice. Even to the dethronement of Cronus. The birth of Athene. Now Athene, Athens named after her. She's like the goddess of war. And she was very strong in all battles. In fact, she could best, the best male warrior there was Ares, right? The god of war. But Athena could always best him in battle. Always. She was a far superior leader and far greater fighter than him. And then you got Zeus and Metis, and you got the Fates. Now all the gods, and even us, are subject to the Fates. Perhaps we should go to that page. I find them very interesting. 53. Okay. But before I go any further, I have brought something to read, just in case of older copyright, which I don't want. So, the book of WRAIN comes out, and I have to do the disclaimer. Where is this disclaimer? This disclaimer is straight from Wikipedia, and is apt, not the one that people use with the actual bylaw numbers and all that in it. Find that a bit airy-fairy, but this will do. Alright, copyright disclaimer. The content used in this video is intended for educational purposes only. All rights to images, music, clips, and other materials used belong to the respective owners, and I do not claim ownership over any third-party content used. Right, and now to cover my own copyrights, if I have any, which is probably the music, right? As this channel's contents, including but not limited to text, images, and videos, are the property of Archangel Michael and Sparta, and are protected under the Copyright Act. Reproduction or distribution of any part of this copyrighted content without my permission is strictly prohibited. So that technically I should not be able to get a strike from YouTube. So YouTube, don't troll me, man. Don't do me wrong. Don't do me wrong. I've done the right thing by you, by the law, and by God. Now, I will break it up. I won't read it exact, just in case they want to be really nasty. But the fates. There are three conjoined fates, robed in white, whom Ebrius begot on night, by name Clotho, Lestus, and Atropos. Of these, Atropos, the smallest in stature, is the most terrible. Zeus, who weighs the lives of men and informs the fates of his decisions, well, can be said to change his mind and stop them before they complete their ceremony. But what they do, these three fates, these three women goddesses, that even the gods themselves are subject to, right, is, right, the one that makes the thread on her spindle is Clotho's spindle. She spindles your lifespan on a thread. And then it goes and gets measured by Latches. She has a measuring rod, so she puts your little strand of life up against her measuring rod and measure your quality in life. And then the most dangerous of all, right, is Athrops, because she has a set of shears. And if you're deemed unworthy, and if Zeus has demanded it, she can snip your life. And that is the end of you. Off you go to Hades. There you go. The younger gods therefore laugh at the fates, right? Because they reckon they're unnecessary. But Zeus doesn't. And some say that Apollo mysteriously made them drunk one time in order to save his friend from death. So they can be manipulated, the fate. See, your fate can be manipulated. But, once your life has been spun and been measured, it can be snipped at any time. That's your fates. And God, the great God of necessity, which is our God that we pray to, right? He's called the strong fate. So even in the Greek mythology, they speak of one that is even higher than Zeus, but they don't name him. They say the great God of necessity. That's where, it's only 50 years between this Greek mythology and Christianity, And it's only been claimed as Christianity because they claimed him as the Christ. His last name wasn't Christ. I don't know what his last name would have been. It would have been whatever Joseph had. But it wouldn't have been Joseph Christ. That came later through Constantine. Emperor Constantine declared all that stuff. Made all that up, what we know, as empires and leaders do. And then that even changed. Because once they'd done what they had done, they only wanted it for the rich. Everyone that couldn't read, couldn't know this religion of God or Jesus properly unless they was preached to it. So they would never be able to understand, keeping dumb, keeping over the status quo and the control. The Catholic Church liked this control. And in the 14th century, a man come along and he translated it to English. And people could read English. And it wasn't long after that. That's when you had the English break away and become the Protestants, broke away from the Catholic Church. And you had the Spanish Armada come and try to bring them back. Later on, after that king had died, his daughter had took over. Oh yes, it's all about religion. Nothing to do about land. It's all about religion. Bringing back to faith, because by the way that the Church of England is, the king or the queen or the monarch They're the closest to God, because they're the leader of that church. And the Pope is the leader of the Catholic Church, and they believe that one to be the closest to God. So at that time, that's why it was the Spanish fleet, because the Spanish, like you see in that movie, the Pirates of the Caribbean, and the Spanish Inquisition, you hear about that, which was a true thing. How the Spanish were going around destroying all the God-type artifacts that would render God wrong, like the fountain of youth, the fountain of life, which is the true thing. They did. They went around hiding all these sacred artifacts, like they did when they came here. Oh, to prove that their theory, what they're pumping to you, what their vision of God that they've given to you in your mind, plays out so they can fucking cash in. Like I said, that purse all throughout humanity. That's what it is. It's not a bag. It's not a special bag of tricks. It's not a magical radiation thing that can fly to the stars. No, it is the secret to all religions. And those are the most ancient carvings, and they've got them all over the world through different ages and periods where people have had no contact. Yet they carve the same thing, because each religion, like they know, like the ones of today, knows it has to be monetized to push it forward. Well, you're never going to get your religion off the fucking shop. Okay? God doesn't need money, but man does. Man needs money to push that religion. Man needs money to do everything, and he designed it to do it that way. We're going to such a point now that, well, we do need it. In one form or another, whether it be credits or the cash that we have now. We have to. That's the way we've designed ourselves. That's the way we're going. That's the only way forward. What? Battery is just about to go flat. That's not plugged in. It is now. Oh, well. I was going to go 2 hours, but this might not last. And I don't want the battery to go totally flat, because I want to play around on YouTube and make some shorts and watch some things. So I might cut this a little bit short. So for another few minutes we can last that. Take it out. Girls at the age of 12, they don't know what they're doing. Too young, no, well, they think they're fucking 30. They think they're 27. And when you've got the welfare, the basis of the community, the way that online is, the way that the schools are, the way the teachers are, they're pushing the kids towards that. And when you step in and say, hang on a sec, whoa, try to police it, they fucking step all over you. Even now, the single mothers, those school boards is terrible. It's like, terrible. It's like I hated it when you used to go into the change room at halftime during a football match, and you was playing really bad. The coach used to say to you, you're playing like a pack of girls. Now, if you say that as a coach now, 15 of those kids will go in the corner and start rubbing their head, saying you misgendered them. The others would kick up about it and come at you with the fucking questions and that, and you're the coach. And then you'll have 18 parents the next day filing you to be pissed off as a coach, because your idealistic ways of calling them girls, because they're not playing strong enough, is no longer warranted. And that's where we're going. So how else are they going to learn how to be men if you can't even tell them? Satan runs the shop. He's in charge of everything. You might not think he is, but he is in charge of things for quite a while now. And a lot of things are getting played clean in our face. Right in our face. Evil, pure evil. Like Kanye West. Yes, no one can deny with his following. What they know what? Hang on. My name is Mike Shah, born 1989. I live in Sweden, and I work at a daycare. Well, there you go. No, 1989. So, yes, I was in year 9 in high school. So I was 14 when you were born. Yes, well, there you go. All over in Sweden, there you go. That's the one thing I like about this technology, but it's also the very last sign that Jesus is coming, the next coming, right? And it's the very last sign is the age of technology, where you'll be able to talk face to face with people all around the world. And we do that right now. We're doing that right now. Jesus' name is known all over the world. No matter which desert you go in on the world, you will say the name Jesus. Although they may not follow him, they know about him. So that gospel has been spread. Even that Ascension Island at the bottom of India, where no one goes on. A few people have got on there. They've killed them, but a few have survived. And those ones who survived have come back and said, yes, they know the name of Jesus, just they don't follow him. So he's even got the name there. Simple as that. Who knows what's washed up on their beaches over time? Many wrecks. But it is a big island and no one goes there except that tribe. But they still know Jesus nonetheless. You know, people in the streets screaming they don't believe in Jesus and God. Happens all over the place. You know, that's another sign. But this last sign, technology, that's the last one. And I am the Archangel Michael right here now. So Jesus can't be too far off the block. Literally got a letter from the government when I wrote to them about what they're doing around out there. They replied. Probably a silly thing by them, but that's information. One thing outside the Secrecy Act that proves everything I say is real. The dragons are quite real. And one day I'll bring that to the internet and expose it to the world. That's my plan. My mission. And it's a whole different ball game. But we've got to bide our time, because if I bring that to the table too quickly, people will be just going dragon. They won't worry about the rest of this stuff. And we've got to get some of the rest of this stuff done first. Like this Epstein list and this Pizzagate bullshit and all these evil ones that are right in front of our face that we call celebrities and stars. It's time for them to fall, because you'll find that they're not celebrities and stars. They're not what you think they are at all. You know the 9th commandment? I don't know the commandments in such order, but I do know the 10 commandments. All basic laws are based off the 10 commandments. You know, it's so easy to use God's contract to get into heaven. With a drop of water. Believe in Jesus, his son. Follow 10 basic main laws and a few little bylaws you have in the Bible. Be good to your fellow man. And you basically slip straight into heaven. Ask a few questions at the gate, and in you go. That's how easy it is. Literally, how easy it is. That's how God wants you to be it. But you have the dogma and the manipulation of the churches, where you have to get money. You see some guy nailed up on a fucking cross. Fucking, you're going to hell if you don't pay them cash. Don't sign your fucking house over. All types of shit. We'll give you insurance. You follow us, and now God will ensure that you're going to have a good afterlife. So to use God's name as an insurance policy. And you have a look with the Vatican, how much it actually earns. Those guys that get voted for the Pope, they don't get voted for the Pope for how many people they've got under their congregation. Oh, hell no. They get voted how much fucking insurance that they've actually pushed that year through their dummy insurance companies they've got. So that's Pope there, he got $120 million insurance fucking pushed through in his little section. He's fucking up to be selected. And that shows you that they're men of men, because they have a fucking clear faction system there, otherwise there wouldn't be a voting system. It's a clear faction system inside that church. They're not united. Otherwise there wouldn't be a voting system. They'd have a clear cut. Who's the next godliest one? Who's got the most people that's brought in under God? That guy will select him. But that's not the process. The process is about how much they've supplied the churches with the purse. That purse that you see fucking carved in all around in all religions, back to the fucking monetization. You know, even in the book it says you're not supposed to follow fucking idols and symbols and all that shit. It tells you plainly in the book, even one of the main commandments. 10 Commandments. Thou shalt not follow false fucking gods or idols or images. The full fucking one, we get the little abbreviation. You know? That's what we only get. We get an abbreviation. We don't get the full length of that law. It goes on a little bit more, you know. But yes, thou shalt not fucking follow them. And when you walk into any of those places, it is the most symbolized, idolized places on the entire planet. You know what God would have wanted? You know how to have that big chapel at the Vatican with the big 4 pillars and all that there? You know what God would have wanted? He would have wanted to sell everything in that room, because it would have been about $1 trillion, and pay everyone's fucking rent for a year. That's what God would have wanted. But they're men of men. They're not men of God. Remember that. Take the money out of the church, and where's your churches then? How grandiose would they be then without their money? God doesn't need money, guys. He doesn't even need us. But he's got a game that he's playing with his son. Hopefully he wants his son to turn around, because no father wants their son to fall. And at the end he hopes his son doesn't go through with this. But I don't think his son's listening. All right? I really don't. That's why I'm here now. Because he was getting close to getting all those full stops and putting them back in to change the fucking story back into a story instead of a song of life. And we can't have these ones. We can't have them. And I've got to put them in a place that no one can get. Once they're there, that's it. Life is protected. So he can wipe out humanity. He can wipe out all the fish in the sea. He can wipe out every microbe on the planet. But as long as I get it where it's supposed to go, it'll never wipe out that dragon, because it's immortal. The only thing that can kill it is this spearhead that I have, the element that can take us to the stars. But we're not ready for that. We're too irresponsible. The knowledge must go with me. And see, even I have to go. I am a piece. Piece on the board of this game. The Archangel Michael. Of course I'm a piece. Who can God trust to do his most important job? Hold the full stop on all life itself. And the final spearhead to complete life, so then Satan can refashion it completely. Because it'll be all gone then. You know? Well, he had to send his best guy. And he had to make me a man. Because there's been certain things that have been put into play over the history that God can't have his direct hands on earth. He can if he really wants to. But he wants to play this game with his son, so his son may turn around. He's hopeful for that. There's still always hope. Remember that. Even the most fallen person, there's still hope for him. They may get punished still, very badly. But there's still hope. One day. But there are certain points and certain things that there is no hope for, like touching children. That's it. God hates that. That's the next generation. Touch that, you forfeit any hope. He will not help you. Signing deals with the devil. Signing deals with any devils or any demons. There's only really 2 ways off of that. If I get you off, right? Or Satan himself rips up that contract. But you still got to do a fair bit of fucking bowing and scraping before you're going to be let into heaven. Right? Right? But that's not going to happen often. Satan don't like fucking giving back souls. It's all about souls. To them, God and Satan, the cash is souls. Your soul. Not cash. Souls. And souls are easily manipulated by cash. Remember that. So it's easily manipulated by cash. And I need a lot of money, no worries. But there's no cash taken off of me for what I've got, unless it's for a good purpose. They come to me and I don't have to sign no contract, and they say, like, we're going to give you $1 million so you can buy all the equipment, set yourself right up, and go and get your steed, Arch. But we want a small cut of what you make from the fumes. That's not too bad. The footage alone will be worth millions of dollars, let alone the creature. As no one wants to help me on the greatest adventure of all. Imagine that. The Archangel Michael himself is offering people a venture to come and just be a cameraman. To film me either catching a dragon, taming a dragon, or getting killed by a dragon, or possibly, because it is this way inclined, because it is smart, and it does think it's people, maybe even being essayed by a bloody dragon. But I don't think we'll put that on. That has to go to the X-rated section. And I don't fancy being essayed by a 9.5-ton dragon. And they've got two dicks, two penises, like most monitor lizards. There's a female, but he's manhead. He's got the bottom, but he's the top. Know what I'm saying? He'll ride you, but he won't let you ride him. And that could be even literally, too. I'm not joking. Dragons have always been offered up maids. So I never used to eat them all the time. I'm going to tell you of two other things that you can go and research yourselves. Because it's a bit hard for you to do the one on, because they're still running around, see? And it's in the open. And they quietened it right up because this is the main one. But there is another dragon that exists. Right? And that's in the Romanian mountains. And the stories are on the YouTube about that. Right? And that's all been blocked off from the public. And that's been documented for quite a few hundred years, that one. The same location, the same thing, the same story. And the governments of that area, they've locked that all off and claim as some sort of nature reserve and that, of course, and you can't go in there. And people that have been in there very recently, 2019, the last people that went in there, come back with the same story, only one man with camera footage. And he ended up disappearing, and the camera footage did too. And it was long after that that was really closed off. Right? They were saying there was some sort of leaks with the volcano, so it could be toxic gas. Oh yeah, it wasn't toxic gas from no volcano, right? There's a stone structure up there, and there's a cave next to it, and a dragon lives in that cave. And that's been documented well and truly, like very much well and truly. It's very interesting. You can look into that, right? There's also, like they chasing this megalodon. Well, the true evidence of a megalodon exists in the Bering Sea in Alaska, right? Right there, they've got a crabbing industry that's worth hundreds of millions, almost getting into the $1 billion range, right? So it's big bucks, right? And there's been 3 really confirmed cases, especially one. There was 18 seconds of footage and everything, and even evidence of a tooth of a megalodon shark, right, attacking the fleet, right, coming up from the deep, got all this incrustation of it, like it's one of very deep sea shark, over 60 foot long, right? And now they got the best marine guy who's classic at debunking any of this mythological shit. So he's the number one guy, and they got him to go in and research it. And he only just retired in 2018, right? And he went and did the research, and the last vessel, I reckon, the person went missing because the shark took him off, right, off the boat. They found a big bite mark in the front of the boat, and he found the tooth that was still wedged in the corner. And when he got that tooth out, he recognized it straight away as a megalodon tooth, right? It was a bit of sea incrustation, but it was a fresh tooth. He did all the scientific testing. It was a fresh tooth. It wasn't fossilized. It was fresh tooth. There was still blood inside it and all kinds of stuff. So he did his extensive report, as he does, to the American Coast Guard. And the Coast Guard said, well, he fell overboard due to rough seas. And that's when that guy, because he'd been, like I said, he debunked everything that's come at him, like any type of octopus, giant octopus, and that kind of guy, he'd debunk it and come out with the true evidence. And it's the first time he got disgruntled with that, because that was real evidence. This guy was a rigid ditch. So obviously he's never come across any cryptids in his 30 odd years as this investigator for the Marine. And basically they just put it that we're not going to tell no one about it. We're not, because they'll close down the area, right, for fucking investigation. And that stuff's up to $700 million fucking crab business you got going there. See? Money wins out. But there again, you could go and do the research on that one. That's the story. Do the research on it. How do I put it? You go Megalodon in the Bering Sea. And I'm sure enough will come up. You'll find ones that are interesting in that. Enough to tell you the story of what's happened there, what's going on there. Right? Most of it will be shorts, but I think there's just one that is really interesting to watch. I might re-find that and repost it to make it easy. A lot of these things that I see. Make it easy for whether people want to read them or not, it's another story. But I don't just post anything. I won't post as anything. And I know them things to be real because it's actual proper information. Now I know you've got a lot of bullshit comes out on YouTube, and people can talk a lot of bullshit. And the picture, no matter what that picture says, can be rechanged and do a million different fucking things, and it's not exactly what's happening in that picture. So you have to be careful what you put online. No, and I'm pretty good at seeing what's true and what is not, what is bullshit and what is reality. And I find that story about that dragon in the Romanian mountains and the Megalodon in the Bering Sea to be quite real. I know things like that are quite real because I have to deal with something that's very quite real myself. I even have the letter from the government. If I put the email and the letter together, you would understand what I was actually asking. You would see, shit, he's a crazy guy. He's asking about a dragon, he's telling him about this, and that, and what they're doing is wrong and all that there, and all this military stuff. And they replied to him. He wouldn't have replied to me at all. He gave me the cold shoulder, sent the police around, told me to shut my mouth, or put me into a padded cell somewhere, and quieten me up. So there's a reason. See, some people in the government, even because I come from our Prime Minister's office, the one that's currently serving now. I guarantee if there was another Prime Minister in there and I asked the question, that it wouldn't have been answered, and I probably would have been treated illy. So whether they're people that like this Albanese or not, some of the things he's doing is not quite right. He's done right by me by allowing me to have that bit of information back. And it's the only thing you're going to find outside the Secrecy Act. And I've even showed that in the court of law with a judge. And it might not be much. People might not be able to read much from it. But the judge knew straight away. There's no way I would have that unless I was telling the truth. You understand? So dragons are very real, especially the one out there. And he's a special one because there's a dual sex one, and he can breed certain different ways. He's also from the land of the marsupial, so of course it's got a fucking pouch. It's got the female organs to lay eggs, but it also can breed with itself, right? And those crawl up into a pouch, and they sustentate on teats in there, and they can't breed, they're just drones, harders. They don't really have a sex to them. They got a single orifice, right? They can't breed. And what he does, he's a creature that comes out, and when he sees a pest in society or in the environment, he'll either destroy it himself if there's only a few of them, or if it's going to be a little bit of a problem, he'll make these drones, and they're male drones, or if any all-purpose things that are going to have a sex to have male drones, but they can't breed. They've got no actual organs. And now, like we have everything today, that creature's got a sexuality thing going on, being both sexes, right? We download and upload. We've also got all these drones. Well, he breeds drones, and yes, with his two penises, he's able to download and upload information, and also put a serum in them to make them grow to the size of him. On a time delay if he wanted to. It's a very unique creature. So if he sees something in his travel, or that creature sees something while it's in that area, they can tell each other what they saw through upload and download, biologically, through his penises. You may not believe me, but this is actual real fact. That's how strange and unique this creature is. Why billions of dollars have been spent trying to catch it. They can catch the drones, but they can't catch him. And he can lay eggs. Now, if he goes and lays eggs, those eggs will be females, and they will have sexual organs, right? And then he can rebreed with them. And then you'll have a whole dominant species. Okay? So he will only insert those creatures, supposed to insert those drones to get rid of like a wild pig, because the wild pig is fucking not native to Australia. That's why he seeded all the back of these dams, and they found all those drones, killed up all the wild pigs. And see, they would have died off after they killed all the wild pigs off, see? Eventually they would have died off, while he was going back to his hibernation. Because he's what you would explain a self-sustentation engine. No? He's supposed to run the environment, but he goes and has a fucking 7,000-year nap too, and wakes up and self-sustennates. His mother and father, who are straight out megalodania, so like a T-Rex, can't talk to them. They one-keyed mind, but he's a special one, and he understands language like a dragon. He possibly could even talk, my father said. And I said, Michael, when you deal with him, you might even pick your mind like a mental telepathy. He said, and that's how he's going to find out what you're speaking to him. You know? Because he's not going to understand English. He only understands one language, and I only know a few words of that one, just enough to pull him up, let him know who I am. You know? That's that. That's another time. Need funding for that? But that'd be great. Someone come to me and said, I'll help you do that. We'll do this. Go out for my 40 days. And then a miracle happens on the 41st. Like it's done throughout the Bible. It'll come to me. I just got to find the right area. So I might be out there for more than 40 days because I have to camp at one area for 40 days. Right? So I might have to take a whole week trying to find where his run is, which area he's actually running in. I know they're keeping him away from the nickel belt. Once he gets to that nickel belt, he can lay those eggs. He can lay those eggs. And then you have a new species, a dominant one. And he can breed those drones sometimes to whatever happens to him. It's like every time they shoot him, he gets stronger to that and gets more immune to that. Sort of like the Hulk in a way. But one day, I was fucking thinking to myself, I said, gee, how far can he actually go in breeding things, this guy? One day he might get sick of being chased by these helicopters, and a drone that he breeds has got 2 different lumps on his back that they've never seen before. And those lumps flick out and they're a fucking set of wings. And it fucking flies straight up and goes straight through the helicopter. And then what are we going to do? You know? And that frightens me because he's like a child or a big giant transgenic man full of all these different hormones because he's both sexes. And he's got people throwing bricks at his head basically with the guns, and they're chasing him and chasing him and chasing him. So he's running mad through the bush thinking everybody hates him. Cat, stop biting. Cat, ready? You. Yes, like these cats. You know, that's what he thinks. So he's on the run. He's always got his eye to the sky. That one. Pretty funny, that. But he needs someone to teach him. So he knows his place. He thinks he's people. Right? He thinks he's people. But he's not. He's a big fucking giant dragon. Massive thing. Very powerful, very scary. It's very scary. I've seen one of the spares. Mother and father are supposed to be on the biggest nickel belt, which is the actual nickel mine under the soup pit in Calgary. You've got the soup pit gold mine, and you look on the aerial map, we'll have a nickel mine. And down in that area down there under that nickel mine, that's where the mother and father are supposed to be. Now, I don't know whether they're supposed to die a long time ago, but apparently they're awake. And they're on a 7-year cycle. Every 7 years they get up and eat. So I don't know what the military has done to them. Whether they've offed them or what. And the mother, she's 20 tons. Something like you've got nothing on your body in your body museums. The father's more like a little bit bigger than the ones you've got in the museum. The one I've actually seen was one of the spares. There's 4 spares that live along the Nullarbor Plain. Right? And I saw one when I was a child. My brother, with my mother and father. And that's when my mother was driving and said, oh, Splinter. No, well, I didn't know you had crocodiles out here. He said, don't be silly, woman. We don't have crocodiles out here because it's in the middle of the Nullarbor Plain. No fucking crocodiles out there. But it's a pretty big lizard. And ended up being this huge, massive thing. Like standing here now, as you can see me standing here, his head would be at least this high, and that's standing on his front haunches with his back to the ground, with his bum to the ground, the back legs to the ground, and the tail coming off. His head was about this wide, and basically the whole family could have rode on it or in it. So it was looking down at us, so it was a massive thing. So it was 4 times the size of your Komodo dragon. Right? Komodo dragon is small, right? That's nowhere near the size of this big thing that we see. Right? And the old man thought it was the special one. Only he had dealings with that a bit later, a few more years down the track. Right? But his big tongue come out and had a big long forked tongue, and a special one. He's only got a short, flat blue tongue, see? And the old man says, oh, you're not the one, but you're one of the spare ones. Angel, not a fairy, yeah. Damn, you're a fairy. Oh, I'm an angel. I only got little wings yet. They've got to grow. Yes, I've seen one there. Supposed to feed the whole of Calgary, that one. But yes, we kept driving off because I seen us kids in the back, and well, is that big enough? When I'm only a 7-year-old, and my brother's 5, my younger brother's 5, he would have just grabbed us and went, go, go. 2 kids straight down his throat. You would have heard us screaming going down. He would have swallowed us whole. Wouldn't even shoot us. It was pretty big. So I've seen one of them with my own eyes. And I've seen the tracks and his motion of some of his drones. And I know the area that he runs in. And I know all about that creature through my father. When my father used to tell you something, it paint a picture in your mind. Like you was there yourself. But that's his specialty magic. When it comes to Aboriginal magic men, nowadays they like to claim themselves to be like spiders with the poison in them. You see an old man sitting there, you don't go close to him because you might walk into his web. And literally these guys have got things that they can flick your fingers and hit you with lightning, or they can trip you up with an ethereal cord of a real web around your leg and drag you to them. Right? Very powerful men. Most of them get that in the evil way through cannibalism. So there's been a lot of badness, a lot of darkness up there. There's a lot of dark magic, a lot of the wrong way. But my father, he was a spider too. But he was a spider taught in a different way. He didn't have very powerful venom, but he was a daddy long legs. So he ate all those other spiders. And that's as simple as that. Right? And because he couldn't teach me in the full way, well, he taught me to be something that can also kill and eat spiders. He taught me to be a wasp. And I can keep stinging the shit out of all those old cold magic men up there, and they don't like it. They don't like it. I get a bit of respect. They don't like it that I'm so young, and I've achieved this power not through cannibalism, like they have. So I'm a bit scared. They're a bit scared of me. And now that the things have come around, and some of them know that I have this full stop, and who I am, and what I'm just looking for, what my actual name is, well, none of them want to help me. They'll talk to me, they'll say hello, but they'll try to get away as quickly as they can. They know they've done wrong. They know their magic means nothing no more. And that's the beauty of it too. Any evil person out there with evil magic, and you really got really evil magic in you, fucking I actually touch you. I actually touch you. This time, if I touch you, I just don't draw the badness, the broken pain. I'll draw your magic clean out of you. And you'll never be magic. I'll throw it away like that, and you'll never be magic again. And they fucking hate that, those men. Those old men, because they know if I touch them, I'll take it straight out of them. Right? No matter what they do, they'll never be magic again. And that's a fact. Mediums, I walk into a room with a proper medium, that's how I can tell whether I'm dealing with a proper medium. I walk into a room with a proper medium that asks me to leave because everything goes black for them. They can't see nothing. Right? When you fucking look at me, you're looking at a wall. Can't get in here. They don't like it. I project the fucking beam, fucking shield around me. I walk into a place that's haunted. Those ghosts are going to kick up because whatever I've got around me, they don't like it. Even good ghosts. They don't like it. It hurts them because they're not supposed to be there. They're supposed to be moving on. And I'm the guy that's supposed to move you on. No, the guy that ferries you to the dead world before you get given to Karen to take you across the river Styx. I take you up to heaven. I'm the ferry of the dead. Archangel Michael is one of my jobs. Whether I do it here in this flesh body or whether I do it in the spirit world. It's going to function none the fucking less. But usually I get sent on the main top jobs. And, well, he's made me a man. So I haven't done that job for quite a while. So I wonder who he's got ferrying them around. Has to be somebody. Somebody that we can trust. So, here I am as a man, doing this mission for God, with these last pieces that can fuck the whole fucking thing up, and Satan can win. No, I'm a piece myself, Archangel Michael, but I'm not just quite a piece, I'm a dice. I'm a dice, and I can be rolled a certain way, and rolled another, I guess. Depends who's rolling me at the moment is God, me rolling me. Sometimes I might let people roll me around, depends what the object is. But that's what it is. On this game, I'm a dice. And Jesus is another dice. I don't think you can have two dices on the board. It's part of the rule. So whether I'm going to bump into Jesus before I flip off, or and finish my mission, and enjoy my fucking... I'm actually going to be, if I do it properly, I'll be rewarded here on earth, as well as in heaven. As my friend Chloe Roma asked, she says, what's the point of doing something, Michael, when they always say you're going to be rewarded in heaven if you follow God? I said, but God rewards people on earth, It's not just all fucking doing everything to God and then you're going to get paid back up there. That's what the church will have you believe, that fucking nonsense. Right? God will also fucking can pave your way down here too, if you fucking learn to really do some missions for Him. You're really working for God. He'll help you down here too. You don't need to be preaching. The fellow man will provide to you. Because God will be in their heart and they'll see what you've done as a great feat and they will provide. Now, as an angel, I can tell you what I need, but technically I can't ask and beg you of it. That's not my policy. That's the policy of the man church. A church of man who only needs money. The secret to all religion on earth, all your humanity religions, the true secret is monetized. Take the monetize out of it, then you might see some true religion, some true faith. As long as you keep it monetized, it's a business for man. God doesn't need money, never has, never will. And they say this thing, God actually doesn't need us. That is true. But he also does. Because at the moment, the way the rules are set in this game, if God wants to be a true God and stick to the rules of his own game, instead of just being a spoiled kid and go, fucking destroy it and start it again, fix this problem that they're always whinging about. You know? No, it's a game. His hands are bound at the moment in this game, and the only way he can work is through us. So he's got to have enough pieces on the fucking board, right, for him to move. Those people in the street, when they get murdered, or that young lady or that young boy, how they're getting essayed in the house, right, and you can hear them screaming and all that there, and nothing is done because there's not enough God in people to actually do something about it. And that's why evil is running rampant. You walk down the street, you see an old lady trying to cross the road. You try to help her. That's God working through you. You see a little kid getting bullied, and you step in and say, hey, you can walk with me till you get home. That's God working through you. If you turn a blind eye and say, well, it's not my fucking kid, people think I'm some sort of pedophile if I go next to it, which is true, right? And that kid's going to get bullied and bashed. And that's evil working. And God wasn't there then with that little boy. Needs to be God pieces on the board. When you walk in the fucking streets and you see someone getting